So I'm at work. It is Tuesday, but technically my Friday, which is nice. I'm finally looking forward to a day off with my fam. It's like if I only get one, we're gonna make the best of it, you know. I kind of wanted to ramble about some things that are on my mind. It's dumb. It is, but I can't help that it's on my mind. Today is Khari's biological mother's birthday. And that doesn't bother me. I mean, it was her birthday long before I met her. I mean, that's not... It forced me to think about that for a minute. I mean, you can say what you want. I mean, it ended badly between us, but this is a woman who gave me a child, and I spent like a year and a half of my life with this woman. So it's like I still have her social security number memorized. So I'll do her the service of not repeating it to you. And, she was important to me at one point. Not anymore. And not even because I'm married. Just not anymore. We grew apart. We started doing different things. We wanted different things. And, and there's nothing wrong with that. But what bothers me about her, I think it's the same thing that bothers Asia about her family, is here's a woman who Khari was not even 6, maybe, and she had promised to take him to Cedar Point. For those of you from Michigan who remember Cedar Point, I mean, it's still there. And if you've ever gone to Cedar Point, that's the thing. You have to get up early and go to Cedar Point. You don't go to Cedar Point in the afternoon. And I knew she wasn't coming. And for hours, my son sat on the porch in the sun, waiting for her to show up, when I knew she had long since gone on without him. And she left me to explain that to him. This little boy waited all day for something that I knew wasn't coming. That annoyed me. And it's little things like that. There are a lot of little examples in our past where she left me holding the bag, and I had to explain to my son that she was going to disappoint him. But I did my best not to throw shade at her. I didn't want his opinion of her to be based on my opinion of her. So I walked that line for many, many years until finally in 2009, when she finally made her intentions known, she fed him the story of, I want to reconnect with you, and I want to be a mother, and I want us to be a family. Please give me that chance. And even though I knew it would end badly, it wasn't my choice to say he couldn't go. Turn the car off, turn it back on. My truck is weird. It's like the air is weird. So I'm going to turn it back on, and then the air will kick in. So he went out there, and for a minute it was fine. Everything was okay. But then he slowly began to realize that she had no intention of ever letting him come home. And suddenly he was trapped, and she had tried to force a decision on him. And I don't know how well you know Khari. You don't force Khari to make a decision. When you tell Khari what he can't do, he is now determined to get it done. His opinion of his biological mother was made very clear. And I don't think I've ever told the story. Maybe one day I'll sit down and do it. But my son called me on a Thursday morning and said, she is trying to move, and she doesn't want to tell me where it is. You need to come get me. And Friday morning, not even 24 hours after he made that call, I had gone from Folsom, California to Flint, Michigan. and I retrieved my son. There's a whole bunch of controversy there. Well, like I said, one day I'll tell that story. But that event changed him, and I think that event also, for him, cemented the fact that here's one person who's always been here for me. Like, I have no reason to doubt you anymore. Like, you say what you do what you say. It might not always work out, but damn, you always do your best, and you're always here. And that, for him, I think, was the nail in the coffin for her, and it cemented what for us would become not just a very solid father-son relationship, but now that he's an adult, a solid friendship and a level of respect. And I love my son on a million different levels. He's a good boy. And I hate that he had to go through that, but I'm happy that he did it early, you know? So, the idea that she would stoop so low to try to make a point. I mean, and while he was there, she was feeding his head with all this nonsense about how I was keeping him away from her. But the fact that I let him go across the country to see her was a testament to the fact that that wasn't true. But that was the day I think my son figured out that I was the guy. Like, I wasn't going to let him down. And I think a mistake that I made later on was trying to push Asia on him as a mother, because I wanted him to have parents. You know, I wanted him to have both parents. And if his biological mama was going to be acting up, I wanted to give him what I didn't have. I wanted him to have a mother and a father in the same home. I wanted him to see love, you know? And I tried to push that on him. And I think, again, I wasn't practicing what I was preaching. You can't tell Khari what to do. You know, Khari is going to do what Khari want to do. And that's not like, oh, he was a bad kid, he didn't listen. Khari is going to do what Khari is going to do. Khari is very much his father's son in that he is going to do things in his own way, on his own terms, and in his own time. And I respect him for that. And once I stopped trying to force Asia on him, he slowly began to see for himself that Asia was what she said she was. She did what she said. She did what she said. She said what she did. And she was up front with him. Hey, I love you. I want to be a part of your life. If you want me to, cool. If you don't, cool. And I'm happy to say now that we are just family. The whole stepmother thing doesn't come up. You know. Oh, it's for me. That's it. Video one, this is Folsom Gold. You've never seen me answer a call.
Switch over to LRT2, please.
Copy. Oh, alright, there's stuff to do. This should be interesting. Metro, Folsom Gold.
Folsom Gold, respond to the FBM on the inbound side, number 330. Add power in and notify Metro. There's a chance someone tried to break inside.
Folsom Gold copies. Hey guys, let's go handle a call. And you can come with me. So, we are...
Metro Rail 23 will check that I'm closer.
Oh, wait.
Copy Rail 23. Folsom Gold, code 4.
Folsom Gold copies, switching back to Enforce. Just like that. I get those a lot. Like, I don't have to go anywhere and do anything. See, I don't think Asia takes me seriously when I say, hey, you know, they called me for something, and then as soon as I'm about to go, they call and say, oh, don't do it. That's a prime example. That happens to me a lot. But my wife and my son are very much family now, and I like that. Like, we are just family. Like, he'll be talking to his friends, and he'll say, my parents. Or for Mother's Day, he posted on her Facebook, and it was like, to the only mother I've ever known. It's like, that's I didn't coerce him. I didn't tell him he had to do that. It was just something on his heart that he felt he should do. When talking about Asia's mother, he says grandma. Like, he's never had a grandma before. I mean, well, he had my mother, but he was very young when she passed away, and he doesn't have very many memories of her. And I could see how the experiences of the summer of 2009 would have left a bad taste in his mouth when it came to mothers. Like, he just, if this is what moms are, I don't want one. So he was very resistant to Asia at first. But now, like, it's all systems go, business as usual. We just family. It was funny because it was earlier this year. I don't even remember. I want to say it was maybe January. And Khari posted a thing on his Facebook page, and it was something about, hey, everybody thinks we're a normal family. Let's just go with it. And his biological mother, you know what? I'm just going to start calling her Janelle. That's who she is. Like, I don't even think she deserves biological mother at this point. So she chimed in and she was like, yeah, I have that on my refrigerator. Haha, me too. And she was trying to include herself. And Asia was pissed. And we immediately shut her down. We were just like, hey, we got this. We don't need you here. Move along. You had your chance. Move along. And we haven't heard anything from her since, which is, what we needed. But my family is my family, and I love my family. But on today, on Janelle's birthday, a day that, it made me think about her. That's it. It's not like I'm sitting around all bitter and, we got a dartboard with her picture on it and we throw darts at it. We don't sit around and talk shit about Janelle all the time. It's just, there's this unspoken code. Fuck her. But on today, on her birthday, she crossed my mind. And I wondered if she would try to reach out to him for her birthday, like, hey, son, it's my birthday. And if she did, I think she would be in for a rude awakening. Because, again, I have to stress this. You don't tell Khari what to do. If she were to try to shoehorn her way into his life, I was going to say back into his life, but she was never really there. If she were to attempt to shoehorn herself into his life, he would shut her down quick. He would be like, whoa, bitch. Like, all of a sudden, it would be the chorus to Humble. Hold up, little bitch. Like, he would get in her ass. There's no way he would accept that. No way. And I feel comfortable saying that because I'm not trying to put words in his mouth, but I know my son well enough to know he would shut her the fuck down real quick. And I like that. Not that I like that he's going to be mean to her. I mean, fuck her feelings. I ain't thinking about her feelings. But I appreciate that he knows who he is as a person. He knows where he stands. He knows who he can count on and who he can't. And it didn't come from me telling him. It came from me showing him. Actions speak louder than words. I wanted to get all of that off my chest. It was on my heart to get it out. I am so immensely proud of the man my son has become and what he's been able to accomplish, despite the fact that, look, I was a good dad, but I didn't always have the best of everything to give him. I still don't have the best of everything to give him. I'll never be able to really give him what he deserves. But for what I did have, he made the best of it, and it worked for him. And that makes me happy. To see him flourish and become a professional. He's a professional now. Like, wow, at 20 years old, he can say he's a professional web designer. Like at 20 years old, I was just trying to get my dick wet. So good for him, you know? Good for him. I'm real interested to see where his life takes him in the next couple of years, like the next 10 years or so. And I'm happy to be along for the journey. Love my son. I love my family. And I couldn't ask for much more. I really couldn't. Posted on my Facebook the other day, it's like, if it all ended right now, the rise was worth the fall. You know, for the good times that we had, we did all right. Well, I got work to do. These cheeseburgers ain't gonna eat themselves, and if I let this ice in my big gulp melt, it's gonna taste weird. So I need to get to work. Yeah, that's how is this a job? Oh my god. Oh boy. But you'll probably see me on again later tonight acting a fool with my family. And I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. So let's get it done.